Hello there. We're the McAfees, and this is Rekt.
We're all Rekt.
Hello and welcome to Rekt Podcast. I am Bunchu alongside my esteemed colleague and co-host Crypto Chamber. Chamber, how you doing, buddy?
Doing very well today. It's Monday. It's a blizzard up here in Canada, and we have the McAfees to talk to bring some sunshine into our day. So I'm feeling pretty good.
The epitome of the crypto power couple, I would say.
That's right.
Janice and John, would you agree?
No, I wouldn't agree.
No, if only that were true. I mean, we're living, not living, but our only communications with the outside world is through a fucking Faraday cage, which is where we are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Wow.
That is a straight Faraday cage. Wow, that is it's
straight fucking cage. So now, power people don't have to do that, do they?
I don't think so.
That's very true. I don't know if you remember, John, but you were actually on with us about a year and a half ago. It was actually our 6th episode ever. And to date, we have now done 128 episodes. So you've circled back around, now recurring guests and friends of the show. So we just want to thank you for taking the time to, join us again and, for giving us the time of day on only our 6th episode way back when. So appreciate it.
Hey, we're happy to be on with you.
So let's just get right into it now. So I bet I could just ask you, so what's going on in your life? And you could talk for an hour. So what is going on in the life of the McAfees at the current moment?
At the current moment, we mostly just Netflix and chill.
You're not so different from me then.
No, we're your average couple, trust me.
Yes, we are. He tweets some stuff, I book interviews, and then we Netflix and chill. And we smoke in between them.
Of course. So any Netflix recommendations that we should be watching?
Which ones?
Any recommendations? You know what? We've been watching a lot of documentaries.
Oh, for Netflix. I thought it was about
weed. It's all about the documentary.
Oh, sorry.
They're really good. They're so good, but I can't remember the names of them right now.
Chamber, are you going to ask for weed recommendations?
I will also take any weed recommendations also.
That's how good they were.
We've watched documentaries on artists that no one had heard of before that were like today were so fucking fantastic. Sukowski.
Yes.
That was his name. We've watched documentaries on plastic in the ocean and discovered. And I'm going, that can't be fucking true. They claimed an island of plastic in the Pacific Ocean.
Wow.
Twice the size of the state of Texas. I'm going, fuck. Oh, so, Janice will tell you, man, I'm writing shit down when I go through documentaries going, I'm going to check this shit out. So I checked it out. All right. Yes.
It's true.
Yes. There is an island of plastic floating in the northern Pacific in a circular path.
Oh, my goodness.
Twice the size of the state of Texas. Well, why didn't anybody tell me that shit before? Because that's important. People go, we got a problem with plastic. And I got images of a few porpoises here and there. They can't open their mouths. They're noisy motherfuckers anyway. Or a fish eating or a bird eating a piece of plastic. Fuck no. We have a new goddamn continent forming out of plastic.
Yes.
Don't you think we should tell somebody?
We probably should. I remember when I was a kid, there was a hole in the ozone the size of Australia, and now we have an island of plastic twice the size of Texas.
Maybe they'll get together and something new.
Maybe you could plug one with the other somehow. I'm not sure. I don't know the logistics of it.
Maybe transformers, when they come, are not going to be made out of steel. They're going to be made out of plastic, right? and we'll accept them because they look just like our toys when we were kids. So anyway.
That's awesome. Well, so we got Netflix and chill, a island full of plastic. What else we got going on? So we were, doing a little prep before the show, and we took a look at McAfee2020.com. So I think what's interesting here is one of the taglines on here says, "The first campaign in exile," and I think that's very interesting. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on with all of that and any new developments for you?
Yeah, I'd rather not get into any personalities, least of all my own, discussing this subject. Well, let me tell you why. You have to realize it doesn't fucking matter who the president is. Nothing changes. Please, God, look at our history. Nothing ever changes. Whatever is built is destroyed by the next administration, and we have this flat, even, war-torn field between two parties that are vying for control of the American hearts and minds. So now, it doesn't matter in this environment. But worse than that, the politicians don't matter. When I say politicians, presidents, congressmen, senators, your local fucking sheriff, if he's elected as a politician, these people don't matter. Here's why. The deep state, and I'm talking about the CIA here as the main leader, including, NSA, the military intelligence, and so on, 14 covert agencies in our government, view politicians and have a word for them. They call them transients. Why? Presidents come and go, every 4 years or every 8 at the outside. If you're in a covert agency like the CIA, you're there for life, not till you retire. Nobody retires ever from the CIA. Instead, your paycheck, instead of coming from the US government, comes from some secret corporation offshore or onshore. And nothing changes. Everybody knows this. So these people, and I believe that they're not evil people, please God. No, they actually believe that they're doing the best for America's interest. And they're concerned about national security. However, what happens is, since these transients come and go, they're not there for any purpose other than to amuse and distract the American public from what's really fucking happening. And how easy is it to control the president? If you control the truth. Because if there is truth about the world, our covert agencies have that truth.
So I think that's interesting. And I think so that I had another question when I was on your website, and I think I kind of get the gist of it now. One of the other taglines on there was "Don't vote McAfee." So I think you just made that point, right?
It doesn't matter who you vote for. Just don't vote for me.
We'll vote for Janice.
Why am I running? Why am I running? Because it gives me an opportunity to access the national stage like it did in 2016 when I ran, so that I can say to the world what I just said to you. Look at the
Absolutely.
truth. Look at the truth. Find out who the deep state is first, how it got there, and then figure out what to do. But looking at our presidents and Congress, and fuck, has that gotten us anywhere? Look at our mess based on the people we put into office.
I was going to say,
can't vote for McAfee.
I wish I could. I can't, unfortunately. But I think that's a good point, because I just like the fact that you're taking that position and saying, hey, I'm throwing my hat in the ring, but it's just to have this stage that we can actually. I think the current president tried to do a version of that when he ran in 2016, where it's I'm just going to show you what I'm going to take you behind the curtain and show you what the real politics are all about. And maybe he did that, maybe he didn't do that. But I think in your case, it's a much more knowledge-based platform, and I think you can convey that message significantly better than maybe the current president did.
Right. Well, here's why Donald Trump didn't take us behind the curtain. It's because Dwight Eisenhower in the 1950s, as he left office, warned us all as Americans, beware of two things, the military-industrial complex and the CIA. He was leaving office, so he squeaked by. The next president to challenge the CIA was John F. Kennedy. Did it very openly.
That didn't work out so well.
We know what happened to him. Nixon was the next, but not overtly, but just a little bit. What happened to him? He was forced to resign. Nobody since Nixon has challenged the power of the CIA, so Trump couldn't take us behind the curtain. Nobody can take us behind the curtain. It's all based on a need to know. Transients, people who come and go, don't have much of a need to know anything.
Interesting. I think there's a good segue because we're talking deep state, we're talking CIA. I got to ask about the formation of the whacked token. So I've been seeing this all over Twitter lately, and then even now to the point where I just saw you tweet today that you're already being censored on the website and everything. So talk a little bit about that.
Oh, okay. All right. So here. I'm glad that people are revisiting Epstein, because I was one of the most vocal people to say, good God, people get a clue. He could not have committed suicide. Let's look at the facts. 6 feet 1 inch tall, hung himself from a 5 foot 7 inch bunk. And from that low bunk, managed to hang himself in a way that broke his neck in multiple places, similar to what happens when people are strangled. Now, he had a cellmate that could have been a witness, but that cellmate was transferred out of his cell 6 hours before he committed suicide. So you think, well, let's look at the video footage. No, the video cameras were malaligned and showed nothing. Well, let's look at the fucking guards on duty. Now here's another kicker. They were sent home early. They were sent home early because there was cleaning going on.
Well, you got to clean. I mean, you got to clean.
I mean, I'm a firm believer that coincidence has some value. I mean, as something to laugh at, if nothing else. But you put a series of coincidences strung together within a matter of hours in one place in this fucking universe. Well, you have.
I once heard a
chance of getting hit by a meteor commuting to the office than that.
I once heard a coincidence was a 1 in a million shot, and we're literally adding a factor of 7 or 8 to that. I mean, it's the number is astronomical.
Please God, let's get real.
I think for the most part, everybody pretty much agrees with the fact that it doesn't add up. I think it's
but
there's not a lot of feedback on the other side.
But you asked about the whacked token. Okay, so all right, so I've got a funny idea. No, hang on, but listen, it's more sophisticated than it fucking looks like. So now, all right, so let's do a whacked token. It's back in business. Why? It'll keep more attention on Jeffrey possibly being whacked, right? Because the more public attention on something, somebody has to say something and explain something. Like, how about explain that series of circumstances to me? All right, that would be one. So, so what I did, but I tried to create it in a real system, a real way, in a real manner. So it's a deflationary token, because out of every transaction, 10% is chopped off, right? This is our system. No, wait, is this not the system of the pyramidal power structure? Okay, you get your 10%, you get your 10%, you get your 10%. However, in this system, things often go awry, and people simply have to be removed. So randomly, of 1 out of 1,000 transactions, the recipient gets nothing.
Oh my God.
It doesn't matter. if it's 100 million coins, I'm sorry, sir. You
got whacked.
You got whacked, man.
So you see what I've combined? What I've combined is a deflationary coin, which we're giving away for free, and we're listing just to see what happens. But many of the deflationary coins have actually gone up in value. Why? Because the supply goes into infinitely small, right? So you've got an attractive coin, except, okay, you might be that 1 in 1,000
right
that gets whacked and you lose everything.
And there's no footage.
The guards were cleaning.
The blockchain was cleaning.
We did not receive that transaction. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was burned. I hope this has not inconvenienced your life. Now, are you willing to risk getting whacked totally and going, well, I don't know. I mean, the more we transact with this, the more valuable it gets. Right? Anyway, I like playing jokes. This is a great one.
I actually think it's pretty hilarious and well thought out. And I think that, I think you're right. It does keep the public on a topic that, shouldn't go ignored.
We can't, please God, people, I beg you, we can't let the government continue to sweep shit like this under the rug. They're so good at doing it. They'll, who knows whose daughter had to be kidnapped for the pathologist to rule, I rule it a suicide. Yeah. Good God, with that information? How did that happen? Either paid or forced or ordered or something. And that now don't go, I'm sorry, it's official. We had the path. We've done everything we're supposed to do. I mean, we investigated it. That's how we found out that there was no tape. There was no this. There was no guards. There was no cellmate for that matter. And we forgot to measure Jeffrey and did not know he was taller than the bunk that he hung himself from. I apologize.
So how can people get their hands on some whacked token?
Okay, it's an airdrop this Friday.
Okay.
You can sign up by going to whacked. That's WHACKD, no E, token.com. It's a secure site. We're not trying to steal your money or your ID. So.
And then there's actually a Twitter account at whacked token.
Whacktoken.com just went live today. Just to
our timing couldn't be better.
We're trying to make it more than just that was a joke. No, we're actually doing the token. We're burning it. Everything is there. So
I'm going to start paying Chamber in whack token. Hopefully that every 1,000th transaction he doesn't get money from me.
Here's what I hope. I hope one of two things. Either people like it and love it and talk about it, or they hate me even more for trying to scam the world by yet one other token I'm promoting. Both of them are the same. Why? Both get the same attention. On the issue of police people, it's not just me and my vices and unruly behaviors. The government's whacking people. Wake up.
Don't get whacked.
That's Rekt. Rekt AF. So you mentioned you're listing it as well. So is that going to be on McAfee decks? And what is what else?
I've got no power to list anywhere else. I mean,
sure.
God knows what I would have to do.
So is McAfee
Binance
live
in order
and everything?
To get that listed on Binance?
Yeah,
I'm sure I'd have to do favors that I would be reluctant to do. So.
Agreed.
So when did you guys? When did you launch McAfee Dex?
It's been 4 weeks now. It's in beta. We currently have only the Ethereum blockchain and all the ERC tokens from ERC20 to ERC 1440. Hopefully within a few hours we will have Tron up. It's been working on their test net for some reason. Tron's test net and mainnet are not exactly in sync, but we'll get that fixed. And then we'll be adding Binance, Neo, and EOS at the end of the year. No cross-chain transactions yet. That's not until the second quarter. When we have cross-chains, we'll put it down into production. There are no listing fees. You want to list a coin on our exchange, you press the button at the top of the page saying add token. You put in the technical specs, you're listed. We have nothing to do with it. We hold nobody's money. We charge nothing for documentation, processing, or whatever's happening. We don't even want to know who you are. No email, nothing. You just use our portal, and our portal allows you to have a user interface into the smart contracts on the blockchains, and you can then transact peer-to-peer. So we can't be shut down now. Our logic is the smart contracts. Mm-hmm. If the SEC or the IRS or the feds go shut it down, I go, wow, fuck, I'd love to. Really, it's more trouble than it's worth. However, I can't. It's there. And it's distributed because we already have almost 30 additional portals that individuals have set up, hopefully 100 by the end of the year around the world. Can't be shut down now.
Now, is there a token associated with that as well, or is it just the exchange?
I'm sorry?
Is there a token associated with it? No.
Oh, yeah, no, there is actually. Well, there is a token. It's complicated, right? The corporate structure of McAfee DEX involves switch DEX, a company I've worked with for almost 2 years now to get this thing out the door. They're the technology arm. And so there's, but it's a bad place to talk about it. It will look like I'm trying to promote the fucking coin, if you understand.
Totally.
I would rather not say anything.
Sure. We got to go back to, we started the whole conversation with Netflix and chill. And we had some questions about the upcoming movie coming out about you. And I think we saw, who is it, Chambers? Zac Efron?
Yeah, I think that's Zac Efron's going to be in the movie now.
He's replacing Seth Rogen, who plays the reporter.
Okay, he's playing the reporter. So who's playing you?
Michael Keaton.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think so.
I think
it was Johnny Depp to start, and I was fucking miserable. But I've got no control over the film, by the way, boys and girls. This is an independent thing. Some people started. I'm making no money from it whatsoever. You can make a movie about anybody. It's a free world. But I've got no control. Although I have a good rapport with the screenwriters, and so we natter back and forth. I mean, for example, all right, when they chose Johnny Depp, I was not a happy camper. So I wrote Zabriskie. Who is the fucking screenwriter? It's been a year since I've talked to him. Anyway, and said, I am absolutely disappointed at your choice of Johnny Depp to play me in this movie. Said, just because I have had a skin condition since birth, which makes my skin appear white, doesn't mean that you can choose a white man to play me. Okay, hang on a second. Oh, this gets good. So he didn't fire anything back the next day, however, because I know he researched this. Next day, he shoots an email with an attachment from a website that Johnny Depp's grandparents, one of them was in fact black. That's right. So I swear to God, this is the truth. So now, and he goes, Mr. McAfee, I'm just so disappointed in you. A man that professes to know so much information, okay, would not know that, of course, we would choose a black man to play you.
That's awesome. That's really funny. So Chamber, you had some questions here, right?
I did. Right. Now, I recall there was a sigh of relief in your tweet when Zac Efron replaced Seth Rogen. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. And here's why. Okay. First of all, it's based on a real goddamn story. Okay. A Wired reporter who became a good friend, then a really good enemy, who wrote an ebook about his encounter with me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Seth Rogen is the opposite of who that character really was.
I see.
The total fucking opposite. I'm going, how can any truth possibly come out of this movie if Seth Rogen is playing the guy who looks like Zac Efron?
Yeah, that's, you wouldn't get those two confused, I don't think.
Right, and not just looks like him, but acts like him as well. All right. They could be one and the same person. So I go, fuck yes. Somebody woke the fuck up. All right.
Nice. Well, that'd be good. I was worried that there was an actual issue with Seth Rogen himself, but it's just a matter of...
If you want to know who they're modeling him after, they're modeling him after Josh Davis, the author, and he was the reporter who came down to Belize to live with me for a while he was writing this piece for Wired magazine. Well, it turned into way more than what that poor bastard had envisioned and expected. Okay. I mean, seriously, more. Because he insisted on hanging with me, and I'm going, are you sure?
Buckle up.
They go, 24 hours a day. And I said, because most people in my situation would go, are you fucking crazy? I mean, I would have to shoot you after the first 3 minutes. I mean, last 3 minutes before I would be obligated to put a bullet in your head. But me, I said, fuck yeah. So, because I wanted to see, how is this going to end up? Okay, well, it ended up finally in a fucking movie. I mean, I'm going, God damn, did I make the right goddamn choice? No, seriously. I mean, had I not allowed it, this movie could not have happened.
That's true.
And it was only a 3-week period of my life.
Wow.
And a 3-year period of Josh's life. He's actually said that before.
That's funny.
Listen, I was living a fairly real life down there in the world as the wealthiest person in the middle of the country, the jungle area. The only white man in a 15,000 population black / mestizo culture. And I'm not a racist if you think, no, please God. I'm just saying, only white man. So I do stand out.
Right.
I can't hide. I can't sort of disguise myself.
You mean light-skinned black man, correct?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Allegedly.
Sorry, yeah.
I would have had to have Johnny Depp's help in order to
right, of course.
Well, I think I remember you saying at one point that you would, if you had to cast it yourself, you would have wanted Morgan Freeman to play you.
Oh, fuck yes, that dude could have played this.
Yeah.
With calm and dignity. Calm and dignity.
I could see. I could. I mean, at least in the voice, for sure.
Oh, I could totally see it.
But this reporter was literally traumatized when he went back. I'm serious. He was traumatized. I didn't finish, so I'm the only white man in this area. So every single person looks at me as easy fucking prey. Number one, we could all just kill him and tell nobody, or just some of us kill him, and if somebody finds out, they're not going to tell on us, or you name it. So I had to surround myself, and you may call this paranoid, but you fucking try it, man. You go out in the middle of the jungle and you build this thing which no one's ever seen before, fucking compound with spectacular buildings and fast boats flying up and down the river and all this shit by yourself, with just you and your handgun, or God forbid you don't even have that. And you tell me you're not going to be surrounded by people, your own security.
Why there? Well, because I think people want to know why that area of Belize, but I think it has to do with your laboratory, and you were making the topical antibiotics and the flowers that you were gathering.
It had to do with that no American, no British person, no gringo had moved ever into the interior of Belize. There's not fucking much there, except crocodiles and monkeys and, mosquitoes that blacken the sky. But other than that, nothing there. And so I chose to go there because I was sick of the plastic world in San Pedro, the American mecca for the newly rich, or the richly retired. I was sick of that shit. And so after 2 years of that, I didn't sell anything. I moved, I came back and forth every week. I flew back to San Pedro, but I basically moved me into the jungle, built a compound. The people I chose to protect me, people said, why did you choose ex-criminals? Well, here's one reason. Okay, if I hire a security guard who's had training with the weapon and is a good shot and has a wife and kids and gets off at 5, compare that to my finest security. His name was Soldier, 47 years old, and spent 28 of them in prison in 17 different offenses in a country where murder only gets you 6 fucking months. So now I hired those sort of people. Everybody was terrified of my security, including the police, the army, everybody. I mean, this organized a bunch of gangsters. I'd never ordered them to go out and raid other cities in the jungle or have a revolution. No, I said, your job is to make sure I continue breathing at least until every Friday when you all fucking get paid. And hopefully that Friday, you will want to get paid next. And if I'm not breathing that Friday, you don't get paid. I don't care if you worked Monday through Thursday, 24 hours. You don't get paid. Are we all clear? Everybody was clear. I never had a fucking problem. Everybody else did. I don't know why. It seemed very ordinary to me.
I'm taking notes.
I mean, it's really good. It's a good.
Holy smokes!
Janice, who's playing you in the movie?
Oh, I'm not sure that, I don't think they're covering our time together.
Yes, yeah, I'm not. I don't think Janice is part of that. This is just a 3-week period of my life. That's all this movie is.
Yeah.
And to me, I look back on it, and it was not a particularly dramatic 3-week period.
For you, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Poor Josh, though. I don't know. It might
just what my life is. And that's another reason that Pinkerton guards could never possibly hang with me. They would go, holy fuck, I'm I. But you take Soldier, who had been in prison more than 10 times for murder. He looked at me as okay. In fact, I will tell you what, the night that they raided, the day they raided us, the gang suppression unit, the prime minister's personal bodyguards, trained by the FBI in Quantico, Virginia, and armed by the CIA through the State Department. They came in, over 40 of them, stormed the property, just destroyed my shit, shot my dog, and took me to jail at the end of that day. I didn't stay very long, but they put me in the same pickup truck with Soldier, the guy I was just explaining. And they had trucks behind us with 50 caliber fucking machine guns, trucks in front with 50 caliber fucking machine guns. And by then I'm a 67-year-old man, right? Unarmed, okay? And soldiers, after we're on the long road from the jungle to Bailey City, it's about 2 hours, Soldier goes, boss, I am so proud to be with you. He said, look how afraid of you they are. And I'm thinking, no, it has nothing to do.
It ain't me, Soldier.
Look how afraid of you they are. I didn't say that, but that was the truth of that matter.
That's funny. Oh, man. All right. So, Chamber, where do we want to go next?
I think we should play a little Defend That Tweet.
All right. So
that sound good?
Go for it. Explain how this works.
John, what we like to do is we like to peruse, your Twitter feed, our guest Twitter feed, and pull up some real gems, and really just kind of just explain what your thoughts were when you made the tweet. I'm going to read it to you here. This was my favorite one. This is from the 9th of November, so just the other day. You go on to say, lots of followers asking why I don't go on Joe Rogan's podcast. Been on with Joe before. I'm afraid I offended him. have reached out over the past 4 years to apologize, but no response from Joe. He carries a grudge. I am dying to hear the story behind this.
I can't tell you the whole story, but and
Little
by the way,
tidbit.
okay, I've been on Joe's podcast before, and I was with Janice actually in Colorado when I was. It doesn't matter, but it had nothing to do with that because that was all very fine. It had to do with that night in Bangkok in 2014, and it was a comment that I made. Now, listen, I don't know if you know Joe or not, but the cast of characters. Okay, this is Samoan bodyguard. There were two pairs of albino twins, women. At least one pair was apparently. We had a goat and a fucking boa constrictor and a contortion. Now, I was fine with everything up until the point of the fucking snake. And I'm going, listen, all right, I am not into harming in any way, including fucking emotionally, innocent goddamn animals. And if you are going to continue this action with that fucking snake, I'm out of here. Now, you want the truth?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can handle it though. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay. So here's
I kind of like the Joe Rogan snake story better.
Okay, so here's the truth of it. All right, so I was on with Joe, like I said, maybe 4 years ago, and had a great old time. Everybody wants me to go on with Joe Rogan. Everybody says go on Joe Rogan, and I know everybody's telling us Rogan get McAfee on. But here's Joe's in my relationship. I'm not going to ask him, and he's not going to ask me.
No.
It just is not happening, people. Okay, say, well, yeah, in fact, I don't bother answering anymore. The answer is too complicated. So I thought, however, Joe's got a great sense of fucking humor. Matches mine. So I'm going to post this and then make sure, and everything that I just said to you, I put in comments, in reply comments in the tweet. And I know people are sending those to him. Because most people believed it.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's because I broke it up into pieces that, said I offended Joe in Bangkok over a trivial matter involving albino twins and a Polynesian chauffeur. And I'm sorry, if you want more information, you'll have to go to Joe. So this is just a goddamn joke, which he's going to laugh at, I hope, and go, that was cool, or that was funny, or he's going to pull one on me, and we're going to get together.
Right.
But if you guys expect me to say, Joe, can I come on your show? Or Joe to go, hey, John, would you come on my show? That ain't happening.
I like this story way better.
This is the best. Yeah, I agree.
Oh my God.
I don't think it wouldn't shock me if Joe caves and does ask you to come on. So that's where my money is. I think that's what the end results are going to be. I think he's going to cave. We'll see if we can break the deal somehow.
I hope his sense of humor is as broad as I think it is. Otherwise,
I have to imagine it is.
Right? He's a comedian.
He may send a hitman after me.
Yeah, he's a
What are you
comedian.
telling lies about me for? I never even saw you in person, for fuck's sake, let alone in a Bangkok hotel.
He's going to publicly come out about his fear of snakes.
Yeah.
Chamber, we got another tweet here.
I do have another one now. I don't know if we're going to top that one. This is the other one I have here. I'm going to go with this one here. I'm going to go with, this is from the 5th of November. Just washed my hair. Shampoos and rinses are scientifically designed to strip the natural oils off of our hair and replace it with unnatural oils, for which we actually pay money for. How did this anomaly come into existence in a universe ruled by physical laws?
Defend that tweet.
I was just giving a brief description of the experiences of my life
I love it.
in the past 10 minutes. Okay, I was in the shower, and Janice, by the way, why don't you tell these? Okay, why don't you tell him about our joint shower experiences, not together, but how you approach it and how I approach it. Janice is far better at this than me.
What do you mean? How do we approach it? How do we approach it?
Well, I approach it very rapidly. I can be in and out, shaved and showered and changed in 12 seconds.
Yes.
Okay.
I can relate.
Yeah, as can I.
But Janice, when she goes in the shower, Junior and I, or whoever I'm with, we sit down, we turn on a movie going, if you get one that's less than 90 minutes, we can finish it. Anyway, tell them about your soaps. I've never used soap. It seemed like an odd
Leave
thing.
myself to what? We were talking about him and his washing his hair. You know how he came up with that tweet? It's only because he's lazy. He doesn't like washing his hair. And so, of course, there has to be something evil behind shampoo.
I agree. There does have to be something evil behind shampoo. I also like the way John tweets the way I tweet. I definitely tweet in the moment. So, I mean, I don't have to shampoo as much as John does. Follically challenged that way. Sometimes I got to wash my beard a little bit, but no, I like to tweet in the moment. So whatever I'm living at the time, you can go down my Twitter feed is very similar thoughts. So I can appreciate tweeting
with way less attention.
If you were married to Janice, you would be showering a lot more.
Okay, I learned a long time ago that trying to make him shower every day was an argument I was going to always lose. So I just let it go. All right, he showers now when he wants to.
It's fucking dangerous. I mean, water coming down on you. Okay, I could be looking up, pass out, and drown from the spray going up my nose. I mean, God.
The old self-waterboard.
Actually, I have a fun story about that. I was just in Nashville this past week, and I may have been a little intoxicated. And about 2:30 in the morning, I found myself in the shower, on the ground, getting pelted with water and not even knowing how I got there. So yes, showers are dangerous. I don't know how I got there. I was butt naked in the shower, 2:30 in the morning in Nashville, still very intoxicated.
That's very funny.
Well, and see, that's what happens when you take showers.
I know, they are dangerous. I'm with John on this one.
It's the shower's fault.
Wow.
All right, this is a good segue here because now we're into the interpersonal relationships of John and Janice. We have you guys on as a couple, so we wanted to play a little game with the both of you. We are going to play a little Rekt podcast version of the Newlywed Game. So this is how we're going to do this, right? So we got some questions for each of you, and we're going to ask you in alternating questions, and whoever's turn it is, the other person will have to guess what the answer is going to be. So just like the Newlywed Game, right? You understand? All right.
I think so. Do we need a joystick? I mean,
no, you're good. So we'll start with.
Okay.
We'll start with John. So Janice, you're going to answer this as if John were answering it. So you're going to tell us what John's favorite movie is.
Oh, fuck me.
Is that the DVD or the Blu-ray?
Yeah.
You're asking unfair questions. So let me explain something here. No, hang on. It's unfair questions because, as Janice well knows, and I think I've taught her a certain extent, you don't have a favorite any fucking thing in life, including sex, by the way, because I promised you, after a 3-day marathon with multiple partners of the opposite or same sex, whatever turns you on, and someone says, would you rather have a blowjob or a Big Mac? You're going to go, fucking Big Mac.
I need to fuel up.
You know this. So
in theory, I do.
So when you ask her favorite movie, it would be for what? For mood, for nostalgia, in order to learn something.
All right, let's go with.
Recommend.
My answer.
Oh,
All
God
of
damn
this
it.
is gonna be
Shut
my
up.
answer.
See, well, I could kind of tell you. I could kind of tell that's where you were going to go because you were basically going to say, "Well, he doesn't have a favorite movie."
Yes, I was gonna say that.
And that's the
Good
correct
enough.
answer.
That all right. That was clearly the correct answer. So that's a point for Janice. So all right. Next we're going. So John, you're going to answer for what you think Janice would answer. What do you do that drives Janice crazy?
How much time do you have?
And we got to take showering off the
Yeah,
table.
showering doesn't count now because
Okay.
It's a big list.
Things that I can no longer do that will piss her off. Okay. I'm going to say that probably first and foremost, if she thought about it, the fact that I do whatever I damn well want rather than what she wants me to do or anybody else in this world wants me to do. I'm pretty sure that that's it.
Janice.
Yes.
It's 100% correct.
That is a great game. I'm glad we did this. All right. Let's go with, all right, Janice, you're answering for John here. What would you say that John's, most, I guess,
You got to word it properly,
I'm not
Bunch.
gonna use the word favorite anymore. So what is his non-crypto related hobby that he does most? That he would say he does most.
Watch movies.
John?
Absolutely, 100% watch movies.
Wow, you guys are firing on all cylinders.
I'm 74 fucking years old, okay? Now, it depends on where we are. I mean, if we're on a boat or something, that's a different story. If we're at a shooting range, totally different story. If we're being chased by people, which happens constantly,
Constantly. Oh my goodness.
totally different set of activities. However, when I'm chilling, which I've been able to do for the past 3 months, okay, that's rare for me, then I only want 2 things. Well, I only want 3 things. 4 things. Okay?
7 things.
It's actually 4. I wasn't thinking properly, okay? I want food, all right?
All right.
I want work. I want sex. I don't want movies. Give me all 4 of those.
That's a good list.
That's a happy life.
Then I'm a happy fucking camper.
All right. One of the things you just
I
mentioned.
forgot about sex. That's why I said 3.
And then you added food, so that was 4. So speaking of food here, all right, we'll wrap this up with the last question here. So this is going to be, John, you're going to answer for what you think Janice would say to this question. Who amongst the 2 of you is the better chef?
Fuck me. Fuck it.
Yes,
Is that true?
yes, it is true.
John, what's the dish you do best?
I tell you what, I do a righteous peanut butter and banana sandwich because it's
That's my go-to
I'm
sandwich.
going to tell you my favorite dish, okay? So what you do is you take the banana and the peanut butter,
Mhm.
equal quantities. Don't put them in the blender because you'll never clean your blender. No, put it in the dish, mix it with a fork. Then take butter, warm it, not so that it's melted, but so that it's very, 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 very soft. And you spread it, and you keep spreading it until it is soaked through both slices of bread, almost to the other side. About 1/4 pound of butter should do. All right. Then
Not lying.
He's not
Not
lying.
lying about the butter.
Then on one side, you take a very thin layer of strawberry preserves, the real shit, that stuff you get at Stuffmongers or whatever, what are the
Fancy
fucking things?
organic.
The fancy organic stores. Then you spread the peanut butter on top. Then you take mayonnaise.
Oh my.
The peanut butter. Between the peanut butter and the butter on the other slice. Slowly put it together. Cut the crust on. of all four sides. You can either triangle it or quarter it. You can quarter it by going parallel to each side and make squares.
They know how
Or-
to cut a sandwich.
No, one second. I'm taking notes, Janice. I'm taking notes. I want this to be
Or
specifically
You can
correct.
triangulate by going corner to corner from both sides. Sit quietly. Make sure that nobody fucking disturbs you. And have an entire quart of fresh, whole milk.
Oh,
Get
there you go.
All right. First thing is you sip the milk. Savor. Hang on.
Sip
My
slowly.
fucking chef, you ask your goddamn chef a fucking chef question, and you are complaining because he's giving you
This is gold.
the recipe. So shut the fuck up for another 1 minute till now. Okay, so at this point, okay, take a sip of milk. Savor the texture as it drains down the back of the throat. Admire the pieces of triangles or squares that you have cut. Looking at each independently, how some of the peanut butter or mayonnaise drips more or less on each piece. Admire and respect it. With the left hand, reach and grab the most appealing. Gently, without doing damage to its form. Grab the quart of milk in the other hand. Throw the whole fucking slice in your mouth. Chew as fast as you can. Gulp. And see if you can drink at least half a bottle of that milk as a chaser. That's a goddamn meal, people.
Oh.
I'm actually kind of turned on. I mean, that we're definitely, you know how like you'll go on a show and they'll clip out, you know, what the most interesting part was and they'll put it out as a teaser. We're just going to clip out the John McAfee
Perfect sandwich. Yes.
perfect sandwich recipe. And that's what we're going to put out.
If you find a better recipe, and the recipe is not just in the cooking, it's in the fucking presentation.
100%.
To detail of the post. So I've given you the full fucking recipe. Now, if you can find a better one for a goddamn peanut butter sandwich, what do you do? Okay.
Oh my God, that was amazing. So, I think that's the right place to stop. We need to, that's it. So, not only was that the best
You
recipe I've
want
ever
one
heard,
now, don't you? You want one. I know you
I'm
do.
literally leaving right now.
find one.
I'm making one right now.
And so, but 100% on the Newlywed Game questions, right, Chamber?
This is, like I said, we called them a power couple at the start of the show. They've proved that to us in the Newlywed Game. I mean, I couldn't have. We knew this was going to go very well. I did not anticipating it going this well. The Newlywed Game, the sandwich recipe at the end. I mean, it's a masterpiece. We obviously appreciate to no end you coming on. But yeah, no, that was,
One second. Could you contact him and see if he'll pay us $5 more? Because
You got it. We'll send you some whacked token, and maybe or maybe not.
we might get there. I'm not sure.
Thank you guys both so much for coming on. That was a lot of fun.
and please send Janice and me a link. We frequently links get lost in the void. Okay,
Of course.
do it on two different things. You can't be just email because I lose most of my emails and Janice keeps most of hers. But anyway, if you could DM it to me on Twitter.
We absolutely will, and we hope to have you both back on in another before the next 122 episodes. So,
Definitely call us.
All right.
thank you guys so much. We've had a great time, and until next time, don't get wrecked, and that is financial advice.